free Gaza from Hamas. They're a jihadist nation.
I have family friends whose family members weren't home for Passover, and we're still in Hamas captivity for 200 days.
I'd like everybody to know that there's nothing anti-Semitic about standing with the people of Gaza and the people of Palestine, that don't be intimidated and strong-armed. A lot of people like to be bullies.
BTQ person, everyone their heads would be cut off. And if they really had a thing they were proud of, they wouldn't be covering their faces. If you're on a high moral ground, you don't hide your face, you show your face.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I just heard about it.
Not you. People like you, Zionists.
I'm not a Zionist.
Get us suspended from school.
I'm not a Zionist.
What do you think about the situation in Israel and Palestine?
I'm very neutral. I'm not a pro-Palestinian, but I am a pro-Israeli.
Why is that?
Because Hamas started this war, and now they have to pay back. Basically, what Hamas did, they never thought about their actions or consequences as to what was going to happen later in life. And now they're dealing with the consequences.
Do you think that it's fair to say that they're paying back with the lives of children?
No. Okay, the children's lives, I can't comment on it, but I'm very neutral on the children's life.
What do you think is the best solution?
I do call for an immediate ceasefire. However, it needs to be in a state of matter order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in order to maintain peace there.
Do you agree with the constant funding that America gives Israel?
You know, about the constant funding of Israel, nor do I agree, nor do I accept that they should be funding, but at the same time, I'm going to stay neutral on that part. I go to Columbia University. It's really saddening what I've been seeing at my own university, and honestly, it disgusts me on how many people can get very violent over such political debate and topics around the world.
Can you tell me what you saw at the Columbia University and how you feel about that?
Well, what I saw was so many people fighting. One side was Israeli, one side was Palestine, and on top of that, what was really going on was too many NYPD officers over there just clashing with both pro-Palestine and pro-Israeli, about to fight each other. It's basically a war zone. That's how I can describe it.
How do you feel about the suppression of free speech when people want to speak for Palestine?
It depends on free speech. Free speech is a legal right by Constitution and the First Amendment, if I'm not correct. And on top of that, free speech, there should be free speech, but the free speech, it depends on how further you go on free speech. If you say, quote, you're Hamas or you're a terrorist, then that's where it ends. And that's where you should be arrested or searched by the FBI or NYPD or anyone out there.
Do you believe in a two-state solution?
I do, but I'm also neutral because I do think Palestine should be overwatched by Israel or some superpower over there in the region.
Do you believe a genocide is being committed against the Palestinian people?
I am neutral. I'm so sorry.
Do the Palestinians have the right to defend themselves just like Israel has the right to defend itself?
Well, it depends on how you look at the situation. Who attacked who first? Hamas, I'm not saying Hamas is part of the Palestinian government, but Hamas did attack first. There was a reason for it.
Yeah.
However, do you know the reason?
Yeah, absolutely, the occupation.
Yes, but it's happened over and over. So that's
I'm not in support of what Hamas did. Obviously, the way they did it and went about it is horrendous. I'm not justifying it or anything.
I'm not justifying it either, and it's really wrong on both sides. But I do want to say this, and if you're listening very closely, the Prime Minister of Israel, he's doing a great job defending his country, but I think that Prime Minister of Israel needs to step down. He has overpowered himself, and I do like him as a Prime Minister. He's done a good job protecting Jews and Israelis, but he has overstepped his authority in Israel and the Middle East. Henceforth, I do think countries like China, India, and USA should be interfering with politics in the country.
I'm a libertarian. I'm actually wearing a hoodie for my friend Josh Smith. He's running for president of the United States of America as a libertarian, and our platform is anti-war. So obviously we agree probably with all the protesters here. As a libertarian, what I want to know is there's a lot of masks. Do they not realize that governments are responsible for war, just like they were responsible for the COVID and the vax stuff? So I just find it a little, I don't know, like funny, I guess, in a way that there's all these leftists here protesting wars where they should be protesting the war against American citizens. They should be protesting every war, Ukraine. It doesn't matter what it is. It just seems selective to me, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm anti-war. It doesn't matter what conflict it is. I think, in all honesty, like these aid packages that passed, like $20 billion went to Israel. It's not really going to Israel. It's going to weapons manufacturers in Washington, D.C., Raytheon, Lockheed Martin. So, like, the Zelenskys get their cut of it. $80 billion goes, and the CIA is saying Zelensky's stealing too many billions off the top. But it's not really aid that goes. It's foreign welfare.
So you support foreign aid from America to other countries?
No, I support no foreign aid whatsoever. I was just trying to make the point that it's not really going to the other countries. It's going to people that make missiles in the United States, and that's what it's about, in my opinion.
I don't agree with Hamas and I don't agree with the IDF. I know a lot of Israel doesn't agree with Netanyahu. He has protests going on right now. He has big disapproval ratings. I know there's theories on why that's why October 7th happened, but I'm not going to speculate on that. Something that I don't like is when people are anti-Zionist, they're getting labeled as anti-Semitic, and I feel like that's very dangerous. A lot of people are getting labeled as anti-Semitic when they don't have any problems with Jewish identity or anything like that, but they have problems with Zionism, and I think that's dangerous.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? So why are you here today?
To stand in solidarity with the people who were being massacred in Gaza, dispossessed for the past 70 years or so, going to so many protests. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. It's pretty bleak what's been going on. I don't know what pressure we can do. I don't have an answer. You just do whatever you can, I guess. It's just horrible. You see what's going on every day.
It's very powerful to see you standing here today because we've seen online they say that there's a lot of anti-Semitic rallies, but it seems that you're being respected, which is amazing. So.
Oh no, I didn't even think twice. Nobody has said anything to me. I feel safe as ever.
Do you think there's a solution? What would be your solution for this conflict?
I mean, the solution has been laid out very clearly since 1967, since UN Resolution 242. It's not a complicated conflict. It's quite simple. The distinction between what can be a state of Palestine and a state of Israel living side by side has been laid out. It can either be a one-state solution where everybody has equal rights and Israel-Palestine binational state, or there could be two states. It's quite clear. It's set up by international law. It's not even complicated. I don't even know why people make it like this conflict is complicated. It's one of the simplest conflicts out there. I'd like everybody to know that there's nothing anti-Semitic about standing with the people of Gaza and the people of Palestine, that don't be intimidated and strong-armed. A lot of people like to be bullies and use derogatory terms to make people feel afraid. There's nothing. It's simple logic.
Any words of encouragement for the Palestinian people?
Stay strong. It's bleak times, but people, the world is behind you. Yep.
What do you think about the whole Palestine-Israel situation?
Well, for me, since I am Jewish, I was bat mitzvahed in Israel. It's really difficult just because obviously I have my biases, and sometimes I feel as if I agree with the other side, then I'm being disloyal to my religion and not supporting my people because it's so divisive. What they were saying is October 7th didn't happen just on October 7th, that it's been 75 years of occupation, but that still doesn't dismiss the fact that 1,000 people died. I have family friends whose family members weren't home for Passover and we're still in Hamas captivity for 200 days, taking a baby hostage, and it's on both sides, I think sometimes there's this competition of what's more. But in all honesty, I think that the protesting, and I don't really think it's doing anything. Because of the protests in the United States, because of the rallies, because of all the support that was shown across the world, has anything really changed there? That's the question. I guess what really was bothering me yesterday, where it was on NYU, and it was outside the Stern building, the flag. It was we have the right to resist, but it's still 1,000 people were butchered and slaughtered, and I happen to know people whose family members are like that. Basically, we have a right to resist, occupation. Hamas did that, ended up killing 1,000 people. I don't know in what detail, is that justifying Hamas's actions? We had the right to resist, but Hamas uses that as an excuse to kill Jews. I think that there's this line that's blurred between Zionism anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, because the fact that they had this rally and they were like occupying these spaces on Passover, like why can't we just separate the religion versus the country?
And the Saber yesterday, both of them. We had half of the organizers were Jewish for the rally yesterday. It was supported by many Jewish coalitions.
And
Because people like her are trying to get us in trouble.
I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I just heard
Not
about
like-
it.
Not you. People like you, Zionists.
I'm not a
are trying to
Zionist.
Get us suspended from school.
I'm not a Zionist.